how do you work with people who aren't nice, to put it nicely? Like, how do we deal with people who don't show respect or who aren't actually listening to you?
That's such a great question, because it's not really answerable. It's not really something that you can put an answer to, but it's just something that you can kind of keep in your head at all times. I mean, I'm very lucky that I have a lot of people that I work for and work with, which I think are two different things. And sometimes, they can be like picky or aggressive or passive aggressive, which is the worst. But they respect me. Now, I have had that happen because I've made choices to eliminate work with people I don't like working with. And I'm very lucky that I'm able to say no to some people and turn down projects. But that's the thing that I went through for like half a decade, where I was like figuring out how to be a creative that like was for hire, because I knew myself as like a full-time creative. Even though I wasn't working full-time, in my head I'm like, I do this every day. Whether I get paid for it every day or not is irrelevant. And it is relevant because it kind of makes you approach it more like a businessman and not like a personal, like territorial thing. And it gets a little territorial. And I think that is that same feeling that assholes have, is a territorial over something they believe in or something that's theirs. Could be a director or a writer that's like, no, like, fuck you. It has to be my way. And you're like, oh my God, like, I hate this person. And that's a tough feeling. But, how do you be an adult and deal with people you don't like,
Yeah.
You got to kill them with kindness. You got to respect them. And usually the best thing you can do is just listen. Listen to what they're saying, identify what their issues are, and try to counteract them positively.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah. And there's like, there's two ways, I think, to kind of deflect those kind of clients or those kind of attitudes and people. And one way is a perfect excuse for anyone listening who wants to know how to get rid of crappy clients. I'm a little booked up right now. Maybe we'll touch base in a couple months. Signed, whoever.
Yeah.
Because anyone understands that you're busy, you're busy. You get it. They can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm a little booked up right now. Potentially in a couple months it might be free, but I'm on a 6-month project. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. Yeah. I've said this to plenty of people. Like, I'm like, in my head, I just want to be like, middle finger, get out of my life. Right. But in my email, it says, like, I just took on like a 1-year contract. I'm doing a work, and I'm on retainer. So I'll let you know next year if I'm taking on new clients.
And I think there is something to say about like closing doors and burning bridges. And like, you don't necessarily want to flick somebody off. And first of all, you don't want to be rude, because that person may end up recommending you down the road.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
Yeah. And then
you're like, what?
And that might actually be an amazing client that they recommend you to. And also, like, a year down the road, you could also be like, oh my God, I don't have any money. Like, I really need this project. I will work with anybody. Oh, but guess what? You told them to go fuck themselves.
Exactly.
And now you can't get that project.
So that's why the busy thing is a perfect response, because it's not disrespectful. You're not saying you don't want to work with them.
Actually, it's showing your value. You're saying, I'm booked up. Like, I'm really sorry, I'm booked up. They're thinking, oh wow, like, he must be getting a lot of work.
You always bookend it with, let's touch base again.
Yeah.
Even if you don't plan to, because it means you're open to communication, which means on their end they're saying, like, if you sent that to a creative you wanted to work with and you didn't know they didn't like you, and they said, let's touch base in a couple months, you would still keep that hope of like, okay, things are cool. It also allows them time to grow. And I think that's really important. We all need to grow. We all need time to grow. And like, if you don't have someone giving you like a chance to come back and show your growth, then like, you're really not giving some people the benefit of the doubt. I work with some people now who, like, 3-4 years ago, like, I didn't want to work with them because they were assholes. And it's probably same for me. People who work with me now who, like, 5 years ago were like, Chris is a dick, But I was going through some shit in my life, like some serious shit that, like, I was taking out on people, taking out on business relationships, on projects. And it was giving me positive results in my work, and it was giving me horrible results in, like, my happiness and my business life. And so, like, that happens to everybody. Everybody goes through shit. So, like, now I've had time to kind of grow and hopefully be a better person. And I have these working relationships with people that, probably didn't want to give me the time of day. And now I can do things for them now that show my value, show my worth, and show my growth.